college football signing day spectacle is off to the races, but let's hold our horses until National Signing Day. Please like and subscribe. According to Dog Post, five-star quarterback Jared Curtis intends to flip from the Georgia Bulldogs to the Vanderbilt Commodores. For the second time in 3 recruiting cycles, it looks like Kirby Smart and the UGA football may watch their longtime five-star commitment flip somewhere else right before signing day. This time it's five-star Jared Curtis, who flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt on Tuesday, according to recruiting website Rivals. Curtis said in a social media post that he had not spoken with Vandy or UGA about his upcoming commitment on Wednesday morning, which has been changed from a Friday announcement. Don't know where all this is coming from, Curtis said. Haven't had a chance to talk to either school yet. I'll keep y'all posted. After committing to Georgia for the second time back in the spring, all signs pointed towards Curtis officially ending his recruitment and signing with Georgia. However, Clark Lee and Vanderbilt never gave up. After a terrific season this past fall, the Doors were able to get the Nashville native on campus multiple times and did everything they could to keep the elite quarterback in the state. In the end, early playing time and location won out. NIL is also a factor, but sources indicated the other 2 factors were the biggest reasons for the flip. Curtis now walks into a situation where he can start from day one, something that was never going to happen in Athens. For Jared Curtis, playing time is important, and Vanderbilt has plenty to offer. The path to playing early at UGA isn't so clear. There's no doubt that this is a tough pill to swallow for Mike Bobo and the Georgia staff. They did everything right but could not offer what Vanderbilt could, a short drive to campus and early playing time. Fortunately for UGA, the Bulldogs have five-star Jaden Wade on board. He's currently the number 1 overall prospect and quarterback in the 2028 class, but sources tell Dog Post that he could eventually reclassify to the 2027 class. According to Rivals, Nashville Christian five-star quarterback Jared Curtis has informed Georgia that he will play his college football at Vanderbilt. Rivals have tabbed Curtis as the number 1 passer in the country and number 2 prospect overall. The 6'3.5", 225-pound Curtis had been a verbal to Georgia since May, but now becomes commit number 21 for head coach Clark Lee and his staff. Curtis becomes biggest pledge in program history and the most talented signal caller to give a verbal to the program out of high school since Jay Cutler. Coach Leah is winning big on the field, and landing Curtis could keep the Commodores in college football playoff contention for years to come. He'll have a chance to compete for the starting quarterback job next fall as Heisman candidate Diego Pavia exhausts his college eligibility. Playing in year 1 was ultimately the most important factor in Curtis's decision. Beyond competing for snaps as a true freshman, program trajectory and the opportunity to play for Leah, along with a competitive NIL offer, allowed Vandy to pull this off. There is a lot of great hype right now with Vanderbilt, Curtis's agent Peter Webb of QB Reps said earlier this fall. The city is hot right now. They beat LSU. They beat Bama last year. I think they've done a great job to pique his interest and get him to be curious about the program. There is a lot of good things happening with Vanderbilt that will continue with Curtis in the fold. This player is elite. As a junior, Curtis completed over 70% of his passes for 2,830 yards and 40 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. He plowed his way to 18 more rushing scores. Curtis has been terrific as a senior. In 5 games, he's thrown for 1,005 yards and 14 touchdowns with 4 more rushing scores. Elite arm talent with creative playmaking ability, Rivals director of scouting Charles Power said. Looks like the top arm talent in the 2026 cycle. Ball explodes off his hand, generates considerable velocity on throws to all areas of the field. He has a loose, natural throwing motion, capable of delivering impressive passes from several arm angles, a pure rotational athlete who does not need his feet set to throw accurate passes, plays with a gunslinging mentality and is not afraid to drive the football into tight windows over the middle of the field, a fluid athlete who is tough to corral in the backfield, dangerous playmaker, an improviser, had some unbelievable plays as a junior, evading pass rushers and uncorking throws 50-plus yards downfield. Curtis originally chose Georgia over Oregon. Other programs he strongly considered included Alabama, Ohio State, and South Carolina. As this juicy drama is not enough, Bleacher Report says five-star quarterback Jared Curtis denies flipping commitment to Vanderbilt from Georgia, or maybe not. Hayes Fawcett of Rivals reported Monday that quarterback prospect Jared Curtis flipped his commitment from Georgia to Vanderbilt. Curtis has been committed to the Bulldogs since May, but would become the Commodores' highest-ranked recruit in program history if he did make the switch. However, Curtis denied the report and said he hasn't spoken to either Vanderbilt or Georgia and would provide his own update, which he stated on X, quote, "Don't know where all this is coming from. Haven't had a chance to talk to either school yet. I'll keep y'all posted." According to 247 Sports composite rankings, Curtis is the number one overall player and quarterback in the entire 2026 class. This would be a massive win for head coach Clark Lee if it does happen, especially since it would come over one of the SEC programs the Commodores are attempting to compete with in the coming years. Vanderbilt is not a traditional football powerhouse like Georgia, but just won double-digit games for the first time in program history and inked Lee to a new 6-year contract that will presumably allow him to continue building formidable rosters. ESPN's Pete Thamel reported the contract includes numerous assets for the program to continue Vanderbilt football's upward trend. To do that than by winning on the recruiting trail, and Vanderbilt might land the biggest win of the entire 2026 cycle. Andrew Ivins of 247 Sports highlighted Curtis's ability to make throws to every level of the field, all while having the athleticism to create with his legs if needed. He led Nashville Christian to a 12-1 record and a Tennessee Division IIA state championship as Mr. Football in the state, and brings the arm, size, creativity, and swagger to emerge as a high-level distributor for a college football playoff contender. Ivins pointed to former Vanderbilt quarterback Jay Cutler as a potential pro comparison in the scouting report. Quarterback has been the most important position for the Commodores this season, with Diego Pavia playing his way into Heisman Trophy discussions while completing 71.2% of his passes for 3,192 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions to go, with 826 yards and 9 scores on the ground as a runner. He has thrived under Leah's tutelage, which surely stood out to Curtis during the recruiting process. But it seems like Curtis is still in the decision-making process. To have five-star Jaden Wade on board, as he is the current number one overall prospect and quarterback in the 2028 class. Vanderbilt's football momentum following a 10-2 regular season could be carrying over to the recruiting trail. Only time will tell if Jared Curtis stays, will the Georgia Bulldogs. But it's best for Jared Curtis to stay with the Dogs, which will provide him with a much better offensive line, quarterback development, and a championship before taking his talent to the NFL, the not-for-long league. Remember, folks, it's not over till it's over. Please like and subscribe, and come back to talk about the College Football Conference Championship